Houston now controlling the flight of Atlantis. The space shuttle spreads its wings one final time for the start of a sentimental journey into history.
It's the motherfucking Eagle Double G. Snoop Dogg. You know I'm mobbing with the D.R.E.
What is happening, everyone? Welcome back. We're in a sea of green today, and of course yesterday. And in today's episode, we're just going to look through, what is the bullish news, why we should continue to be bullish on Bitcoin. Of course, we've seen a really nice rise over the last 2 days, but will we continue to see this, or are we still doomed for the $5,000, sub $5,000 area, or are we going to go sideways for a while? So just going to quickly go over the most recent news and the news to continue to be bullish on Bitcoin regardless of price in the short to medium term. First of all, first article, of course, it's very suitable to our opening. Got a big rocket going to the moon. I would prefer to be aiming towards Mars, but let's see where we go in the coming months and years. This article, Bitcoin's price jumps $1,000 in 30 minutes of market growth across the board. So, first of all, before we jump into that, let's quickly look at that at the graph. This is a Bitfinex from when it happened. We look at it around, I think it was around 11 a.m. yesterday. We saw this enormous, green candle coming out of nowhere. Therefore, the rest of the market continued to rise with Bitcoin. If we look at that, it does kind of look like a little bit of manipulation there, to be fair. If we scroll out a little bit here, it does kind of look a little bit familiar to a little bit of this other price action we've seen over the last few weeks. Just trending sideways, and then boom, fat green candle takes us up to a new level, pumped us again once more, sideways with a big sell-off. So we tended to go sideways again here, and then we've seen this big green candle. Are we going to continue to go onto a new level of around 8.5 and above? In my honest opinion, I would probably think we're probably going to retrace a little bit downward again below $7,000 and then potentially go up again. But let's see. Long story short, this is just the beginning, and let's hope it just shows a little bit more positive sentiment so we can go up to above $12,000 and hopefully stay above that for the foreseeable future. Again, guys, don't get too happy right now. This might not be the best buying opportunity. It might be what we call a bull trap. So just keep in mind, watch the markets closely. In my honest opinion, I think probably not best time to buy right now. But hopefully this is the reverse and we go up. Equally, I'd be just as happy with that. So in this article here, they tried to explain the few things around that might have made that green candle happen, or some news behind it, but I'm not quite certain that there's any particular news. But let's just go over some of the bullish news in the industry right now that will take Bitcoin to new all-time highs in the coming months and years. So it says here, the crypto markets experienced an explosion of growth April 12th, with Bitcoin jumping more than $1,000 to break $8,000 over just a 30-minute period, and the rest of the market solidly in the green. As you can see here, Bitcoin jumped right up to around 13%. Ether followed it. So did Ripple. So the top three pretty much very well correlated. But as you can see here, the majority of the market all in the green. So that's really, really nice to see. It does continue here. It says, while no specific events have been confirmed as a reason for the sharp price jumps across the board, Twitter users have speculated that the recent news that Bitcoin has been declared compliant to Shariah Law, according to a report published online yesterday. So that could be the reason to it. To be quite honest, that would be a much larger market for people to buy, or much larger market for people to purchase Bitcoins from. It's about 1.6 billion people under Shariah Law that would be able to purchase Bitcoins. So that could be it. A few other stories they're going on about, recent talk about big investment homes and family offices looking to invest in Bitcoin, like Soros and of course Rockefeller. A great article down here kind of takes us through this amazing breakout we had just yesterday. It says here, Bitcoin clocked 2.5 week high of 8,225 on Bitfinex earlier today. Prices jumped close to 14% on Thursday and moved above the $8,000 mark for the first time since March. The sharp rally was reportedly fueled by the unwinding of short trades. So yeah, a lot of short trades got liquidated. A lot of them had to get out the way. So that necessarily wasn't very good for those people that were involved or had a few shorts on Bitcoin. Or is it the sentiment usually that in Q2 Bitcoin does tend to perform quite well? In this article here it says a Q2 price boost, history is on Bitcoin's side. So it reads, the second quarter of 2018 may bring some respite from the beluga, sorry I shockingly pronounced that, Bitcoin bulls. The world's largest cryptocurrency by market valuation seems to have found a bottom around 6,500 mark, having dropped 50% in the first quarter. Notably, the worst Q1 performance on record. Overall, it's safe to say that bulls have been struggling to find their feet, as indicated by stagnant prices and narrowing price range. Yet, speculation is doing the rounds that big Wall Street names such as Soros and Rockefeller are set to enter the crypto space. If confirmed, the news could ramp up the bull case, as happened with the advent of Bitcoin futures soon before Bitcoin's December price peak. Yeah, so what is good to know is that Bitcoin has always tended to perform fairly well in Q2, so we can expect for us to see, some better price action. It does say here, looking to that Bitcoin potentially found a floor at around 6,500. I'm not completely convinced that that is the floor. We may go lower than that, but let's see. Just a representation of Bitcoin's performance in Q2. Obviously in 2011, enormous growth. 2012 didn't do too badly. 2013, it's been up and outperformed itself quite well in Q2. So this is good news. So something to look forward to, of course. It does say that it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to happen in the coming weeks, but let's see. Q2, of course, a few months till the end of that. When it comes to billionaires investing in crypto, very well-known billionaire Tim Draper sets his new price target for Bitcoin. So it says billionaire Tim Draper sets a $250,000 Bitcoin price target for the year 2022. He did also predict that Bitcoin would obviously hit 10 grand. It went well above that. Tim Draper is well known in the industry for buying a large quantity of Bitcoin during one of the FBI auctions a few years ago now. But it goes on to read, tech billionaire Tim Draper, an Ovid cryptocurrency bull, has set a 250,000 Bitcoin price target for the year 2022. Draper made the bold prediction on April 12th at the end of the 2018 blockchain party at his self-named Draper University in San Mateo, California. He says, I'm thinking $250,000 of Bitcoin by 2022. Believe it, if they're going to think you're crazy, but believe it. It's happening and it's going to be awesome. So I like his optimism. He's always actually being a very big Bitcoin bull, considering he owns a hell of a lot of Bitcoin. But he's also looking to try build out this Bitcoin ecosystem, hence Tim Draper University, which is dedicated towards, blockchain technology and furthering this industry. So that's cool. Big billionaires with a lot of influence, very bullish on Bitcoin. Again, talking about billionaires, we've mentioned it already, but hedge fund titan George Soros is getting into cryptocurrencies. He wasn't really the biggest fan of crypto back in the day, but now he literally cannot ignore it anymore. He would look silly if he did ignore it, and the rest of his competitors made huge amount of money from it. So it says here, according to Bloomberg, a member of his family office received internal approval to trade cryptocurrencies, an asset that most traditional money managers have avoided due to its sector's limited track record, lack of regulation, and of course volatility. Well, that's good that people with multi-billions are looking to dip their toes into crypto. That can only help for us to go up and onward. When it comes to hedge funds, not necessarily the newest story, came out about 3 or 4 days ago here. 1 billion blockchain fund launches with Chinese government backing. It says here, according to report from Sohu, while the fund has been launched by Hangzhou-based venture capital firm Tunlan Investment, it will see over $400 million coming from the Hangzhou city government as a guided fund that will be used to invest in promising blockchain projects. The industrial park will also act as an incubator center for the startups. So that's only bullish, that's only good news for crypto and its longevity, is that big multi-billion-dollar funds are looking to invest in promising new startups, and this is also backed by government money as well, and in China. Remember, there was a huge amount of China FUD in the past. I think it's only a matter of time until China open their doors again, and we'll see an enormous rise in value because of that, or let's hope so. Moving on again to a few things that might have affected this price jump. It says, what's behind Bitcoin's recent price jump? It may be tax day. So yeah, it goes on to read as Bitcoin is on a roll, with the price of one of the virtual coins up more than 17% against the dollar in just one day. On Friday morning, it climbed back above $8,000 for the first time in 2 weeks, with an $8,050 value at the time of writing. Why though? As ever, the cause of the cryptocurrency fortunes are less than clear, but some experts reckon it might have something to do with the approach of April 17th, the deadline for filing taxes in the US. Others think it's a function of geopolitical fears and sanctions. The tax day theory goes like this. People needed to liquidate their Bitcoin assets before the deadline in order to have enough dollars to pay their taxes. Most have done this now, so goodbye sell-off. To be fair, I think out of all the speculation on what happened or why this is going up, I think that is one of the better arguments. Is that you know, a lot of people obviously take tax very seriously. Why wouldn't you? And a lot of people wanted to make sure to get that out of the way before they threw money back into the market. So yeah, so I think that's quite a good explanation. Some more bullish news though, in terms of Bitcoin regulation and institutional, you know, firms or places taking control and looking into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. It reads, 22 European nations form new blockchain partnership. A group of 22 European nations have formed a new blockchain partnership aimed to exchange information on the technology. The countries, including the UK, France, Germany, Norway, Spain, and the Netherlands, signed a declaration on Tuesday establishing the new group, dubbed the European Blockchain Partnership, according to a release from the European Commission. The collaboration is aimed to avoid fragmented approaches to the technology by sharing technical and regulatory expertise among member states, as well as creating ways to promote blockchain applications across the EU-wide digital single market. Listen guys, this is huge because it just shows that they know that they need to get ready for this, and they want to all be in unison for different regulation and you know, for different ways of controlling, or not necessarily controlling, but making sure that people are well looked after when investing in this stuff, and of course using cryptocurrency. Right now it's very speculative. These are all just speculative investments, but within the next 5 years or 2 years, people will be using the blockchain daily. Like when the internet first started, it was kind of, I don't know if this is going to work. Now we use it every single day. We cannot live without it. So that's the way I see it, and the fact that we've got partnerships in writing now, that big major EU representatives are all going to look towards working together to make Bitcoin great, or make the blockchain great. I think that's really good. And then I'm going to skip this because we've spoken a little bit about it. You know, basically it says bear market largely over, crypto fund manager claims. So let's hope he is right. And then of course, crypto exchange Bittrex is taking new customers again. This can only be good, because we should potentially see a large wave of new investors if things are to go in the green again. It's funny how the psychology of an investor is. As soon as things are green, they're happy to throw money in. But as soon as it's cheap and it's a sale day, or you know, you're getting a major discount, people aren't looking to invest. But if we can go into a positive sentiment over the coming weeks or months, I'm sure Bittrex will have a hell of a lot more sign-ups. So that's good that they have opened their doors again. And then just lastly, to let you go, and a few food for thought, there's this image that came out of The Economist. This is from The Economist in 1988. The image shows obviously a phoenix coming out of the ashes. It looks like burning, not necessarily dollars, but burning money, and this massive gold coin in the middle with 2018 on it. And it says, get ready for world currency. So I don't know what you guys think of that, but I've looked into it a little bit myself, and I just want to read this first extract here. It says, 30 years on from now, they've said this now in 1988 in this article. It says, 30 years from now, Americans, Japanese, Europeans, and people in many other rich countries, and some relatively poor ones, will probably be paying their shopping with the same currency. Give that food for thought. Prices will be quoted not in dollars, yen, or D-marks, but in, let's say, the Phoenix. The Phoenix will be favored by companies and shoppers because it will be more convenient than today's national currencies, and which by then will seem a quaint cause of much disruption to economic life in the last 20th century. So it's pretty much spot on. It's like it talks about convenience and how things will pretty much go in a direction of people wanting to make things fast, quick, and affordable. And that's exactly what the blockchain does, and what Bitcoin brought to the table back in 2008. So are we going to see this kind of emerge into the latter end of 2018 into 2019, that more and more people realize that physical dollars aren't necessarily the way of the future, and that they might one day be this digital world economy? And I think it's only inevitable. The way I see it is that there might be, a digital gold standard like Bitcoin, and then digital dollars, rands, yen, pounds that will be in some way not necessarily hedged against the Bitcoin and the gold of the internet, but in the same way fiat used to be on the gold standard, that digital currency will be on the digital gold standard, which will be Bitcoin. So let's see. But there's also speculation that this might be Ripple as well. So, in terms of a world currency owned by bankers. So let's see where that goes. But yeah, again, so these are the reasons to be bullish, guys. Let's hope the sentiment continues. And if you've enjoyed this, go ahead and give us a good old thumbs up now. And that will really, really help. Also, if you're new, go ahead and subscribe for more news, coin reviews, daily updates when it comes to the market trends. And what we'll be doing soon is 1 or 2 live streams every week, and giving you up-to-date news on cryptocurrencies. I'm Maximilian, your crypto broker, and I'll see you again tomorrow.